I'm your huckleberry.
This is the Smoking Guns Podcast.
No G with a Z. POD Smoking Guns Podcast. Back with you a week early. You may be looking at the calendar and being like, wait a second, they said the 10th. And it's not the 10th yet. You're right. You're right. We're wrong. You're right.
Yep.
Howdy, Jay Washington, already checking in with us. Good to see you, buddy.
What's up, Jay?
We had to jump
Hi,
on a
Jay.
little early with some scheduled trips planned for a couple of us. We decided we would jump on with you a week early. We would join you tonight, and then we will take next week off. And then when we gather back together on St. Patrick's Day, the 17th, it will be game week for the San Antonio Gunslingers already.
Woo.
It will be 5 days before the San Antonio Gunslingers kick off in Freeman Coliseum against the Tulsa Oilers. Not Drillers.
The Oilers, yeah.
Oilers,
You were saying
not
Drillers last week.
Drillers last week. We are the Smoking Guns Podcast. We are a podcast that covers football in San Antonio specifically, or centered around the San Antonio Gunslingers of the Indoor Football League. We also cover the San Antonio Brahmas of the UFL and the San Antonio Caballeros of the IFA. But we have some interesting information for fans of the show and folks that love us and love hanging out with us and love what we produce. We're going to be making some changes to our format. We're going to talk about that at the end of the show. So you're going to have to stick with us and stay with us as we move through the evening talking about football here in San Antonio. Scheduled today, we have Don Rackler of the San Antonio Gunslingers. He's finally going to come on the show. It's taken 4 seasons, but we'll have Don Rackler on the show.
Yeah.
And then we will end the show with kind of a big announcement, an announcement about the direction of the show and where we're heading. My name is Philip Higginbotham. I'm one of your hosts. I'm joined, as always, by Leo Yamas. Nope. There you go.
Yeah, what's up, Smoking Guns Posse?
And R.C. Woods.
Hello, beautiful people. Miss you.
Woo! It's almost time. I can't believe how quickly the season is coming. 19 days away from kickoff in the Freeman Coliseum. I'm ready. I'm excited.
Yeah, you said that
Me too.
just before we came on. You said the number 19, and it
19.
just blew my mind. I'm like, I can't believe we're almost there, less than 20, and those days will go by
So fast.
before you know it. Yep.
Right. And I think it's interesting that the very first night of the season, I want to talk to Don about this when he comes on. I think it's interesting that the very first night of the season, the theme of the evening, Leo, is fan appreciation. This is usually something that is saved for organizations until the end of the season.
Right.
Mm-hmm. That's true.
They usually save this all the way to the end. I think that there is probably a strategic or a reason that the Gunslingers have decided to move this all the way to the first game of the season, first home game, first game of the season. I think it says something about the organization and how they feel about the fans.
Absolutely.
That our first opportunity, we're going to say thank you. We're going to appreciate our fans. I think that's kind of cool. That's not generally how this goes. And I think that's kind of a neat way for them to kick off the whole season is with fan appreciation.
Agreed.
I love it.
And knowing what we know about the showrunners for the Gunslingers, we know that they're planners. They don't do anything by the seat of their pants when it comes to the Gunslingers organization and the production. So I definitely will agree that there's something up their sleeve, and there's a big reason why they're starting off week 1 with fan appreciation. I can't wait to see what it is.
Guaranteed to be a
Starting
really
off with the bang.
starting off with. I got it. I get
Yeah.
it. I got it. RC, my wife says I owe you an apology.
You do.
I told her all about last night. We just had this conversation last night. We had a conversation about my hip comment on the last show last week when you said something about how you were hip, and I said you might need a new hip. My wife says that was mean, and I should apologize. So
I'll have to agree with her on that.
So Diana's looking out for you. She said I was mean.
Thank you, Diana. Appreciate that. Much love toward you.
There you go. My wife says I should apologize. I'm just
them just jokes, but
them just jokes. Yeah.
I know there's love there, but I am the oldest one on the show, so
you are, but we don't notice that. Like I'm, it doesn't matter.
I guess I cover my gray better than y'all do.
I got to work on that.
Yeah.
I've been noticing that it's creeping in a little more. I gotta be a little more vigilant on taking care of the gray. Getting younger, casting some sort of spell on myself to get younger. I got to work on.
Doesn't work.
It doesn't.
I don't know. Loli's tells me that a little bit of gray on the man is sexy, but I don't know. I might be exposing her with that comment, but that's what she tells me.
Well, she's listening right now, so she'll confirm or deny that is what she has said. I'm just looking at the Tulsa Oilers right now. I'm looking at their roster to see if I recognize any of these names.
Do you?
I mean, some of them seem vaguely familiar, but nothing jumps out at me. So there she goes. Little Grace. She says she finds that very sexy. Yes. There you go, Leo.
And now everyone knows.
Now everyone knows.
Secrets
out. So we left the Freeman Coliseum back in, what was it, August? Game against the Arizona Rattlers. We kind of thought we had them. Didn't end up having them.
Almost. And then they ended up winning the championship.
They won the championship. They won it all.
And as a matter of fact, I think we played them a closer game than the actual second place team, right? So we get second place.
That's true.
I like your logic. I'm going to go with that. You're right. We almost beat the people that were the champions, so we were almost the champions.
The champions. That's right.
That's how things work. That's how sports works.
It's logical.
For sure. Absolutely. Logic is on your side. But a lot will change. We've already talked about this. We talked about it a little bit last week. We talked about it a lot when Coach Manas came on. Team's going to look different. The league is going to look very different.
Yes.
Let's talk about some of those differences. I know we've talked about it before, but let's start with just the makeup of the league. There are teams that are not there this year, Leo. If you haven't been paying attention in the offseason, you may not know that the Frisco Fighters and the Duke City Gladiators are both dormant. They are not officially gone into the ether, but they are dormant. They are no longer part of the IFL, at least not for this upcoming 2025 season.
Mm-hmm. The loss of Frisco, or temporary loss, because as I understand it, that ownership group is just looking for a buyer or someone else to step in, but they do intend to return. But that's kind of a hit that stings the Gunslingers fan the most, because those games were so competitive, and it was like the players understood, the fans understood. This is Fort Worth, this is Dallas versus San Antonio, this is in-state rivalry, the 35 rivalry, and those games were so contested and so much fun. I was really disappointed to hear that Frisco was gonna take a season off. So Duke City, I mean, it always
Yeah,
hurts
not so
to
much.
have some teams not return on a league, but the IFL is a sizable league. They're very they're very well run, so it doesn't hurt so much with the Duke City loss, but it does definitely hurt losing our fellow Texas team, those Frisco
Exactly.
Fighters.
And I hope maybe they can come back next year. You never know.
Yeah.
Well, that's the expectation. I mean, the expectation for both of these teams. Although I would expect to see Frisco, I would be a little surprised if Duke City circles back around. They were struggling. I know. Frisco was doing a little better.
Yeah.
And so I wouldn't be surprised to see Frisco wind up back in the league. I was excited about Frisco. I'm a big Dallas Stars fan, and I'm from the Metroplex, so Frisco was something that they were connected to the Dallas Stars. I know I've talked about that a lot on the show. I liked having that in-state rivalry. We've always had the Gunslingers have always had an in-state rivalry, right? Rival, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I would agree.
Did we have one in the NAL days?
The West Texas.
The Bulls, wasn't it?
No,
well, the Bulls were the AAF days. That very first season, we played the North Texas Bulls at Amarillo. We had not Amarillo. No, Austin Wild.
Mm-hmm. There was the El Paso, but
we never actually played them.
No,
that's right, because it got canceled because of the field, right?
Yeah, their field was scary.
Yeah, gone are those days with the. You see a steady progression with this organization, but like Jay Washington's comment there, something about Gunslingers rivals going ghost, and he mentioned West Texas, and then now Frisco. Who's the next rival? He says, "Who's next? Jacksonville." I mean, that would make some sense because we're both they're both NAL holdovers, or what would you call them? Transplants.
We do have a scheduled game with Jacksonville at the end of this season in Jacksonville, not here in San Antonio, unfortunately. But it is what it is. Not only did the IFL lose teams, they lost two teams went dormant, but they added a team, Fisher's Freight. Fisher's Freight is in the Indianapolis metropolitan sort of area. They're a brand new team. I don't know what to expect from them. I don't think they have a scheduled game right now with the San Antonio Gunslingers. I can't remember off the top of my head, and I am quickly heading to the schedule to make sure I'm right here. But I don't
believe so. I think you're right on that.
Yeah, we don't have a game with Fisher's Freight. They are in the East while we are in the West. And so most of our games center on the West. Our only Eastern opponents, we play Tulsa twice. We play Quad City. We play Tulsa 3 times, actually. We play Quad City and we play Jacksonville. Those are our only Eastern Conference games, which means we're going to have another rough run through the season. The West is definitely the stronger of the conferences, and we have to play a lot of Western opponents. But that is what it is. You can only play who's in front of you.
That's true.
Yeah, and let's see. 3 of their first 4 games on the road. We kind of talked about this a little bit, I think, the last time, but not only playing Western teams, but also 3 of the first 4 on the road. That's a tough pill to swallow to start off with.
It is. It's going to come into play. You're going to know a lot on that second home game. By the time the Gunslingers come back home to play Tulsa again, by the way, in April 19th, they play Tulsa again at home.
No, that's an away game. Their first home game is April 26th.
Oh, you're right. I'm sorry. You're right.
Yeah.
I'm reading the wrong thing.
Vegas.
April 26th, when Vegas comes into the Freeman Coliseum. You're going to know a lot about what we can expect from this team. That will be kind of the gut check time. If we're 3-1 or 4-0 and riding high, and things will be all good. If you're 1-3 or you haven't won a game yet, what do you do? How do you feel, Leo, if they come back 2-2 though?
2-2, you're still in the mix. You're still okay. You can't be 1-3. You can't be 1-3. You could be 2-2, and of course, doing better than that. You're 3-1. Then things are looking great. There's almost no. I mean, there's a difference, but I don't feel any less excited about a 3-1 team than I do about a 4-0 team. But 2-2, you're still like you're in the mix. 1-4, you're going, what's going on?
Yeah, sure.
You start wondering. You start wondering. Yeah.
That's a long season. It's a 14-game season. So even at 0-4 or 1-3, you're not out of anything.
No, you're not out.
But it makes it a lot easier to come in, 2-2 at 500 or higher, coming in off that first run of the season. I think it's important that you win the right games too. If you're going to be 2-2, one of those two games that you've won has to be one of your divisional opponents. Because you play Tulsa twice, but you play Bay Area and Arizona.
Mm-hmm.
You need at least one of those. If you're only going to be 2-2, you need at least one of those two wins to be one of your divisional opponents. Because we learned last year how important these early divisional games are.
Very.
The San Diego game could have meant the difference. Coming down to the end of the season, we had an opportunity mathematically to stay in things longer. Had we won that first game against San Diego all the way back at the beginning of the season, because it was the only time we played them, and had we won them, or had we won that game, we would have, had we won them. Like I'm 5 again. Do they ever play the Iowa Barnstormers? Not this season, not on the schedule, at least. There is a possibility that they will play the Iowa Barnstormers in Tucson in August, because they are in the Eastern Conference and we are in the Western Conference. So if both of those teams were to work their way through the playoffs to the championship game, that's the only way they would play the Iowa Barnstormers this season.
Now, do we know if any of the other teams have podcasts?
Green Bay does. Let me look at the teams here, and I know that some of them do. Green Bay does, and Jacksonville does. In fact, Jacksonville's podcast is our good buddy Jim Bernay.
Yep.
Yay!
And Bob Book. Book. I'm going to say Book. It sounds better.
Okay.
I know those two teams have podcasts, but those are the only one I'm sure.
If we could have one of the crew to come on our podcast so we can show unity.
Yeah, for sure. Certainly, as we head down toward game days, I expect when we get toward that Jacksonville game, there will be some conversation between the Sharks podcast, Inside the Sharks, I think is what they call their podcast, because he's part of the Inside the Walls, which is still covering NAL football, but he also does a Sharks podcast there for them. Leo, go ahead.
I was saying, I think that'd be a great idea.
We got some news last week about the San Antonio Gunslingers signing a new quarterback.
Yeah.
And I am pulling up his name right now. I remember his last name, but I can't remember his first name. Do you remember his first name?
I don't. I know he was the MVP of the what was that football league where you could run you make the
fan control
decisions on the
fan control football.
Yes, that one. He was the MVP of that league when I I saw when I kind of looked him up. Coach in his little note said he's extremely talented and competitive, so they're excited to add him to the mix. Obviously,
his name is Ed Crouch. He played in fan control football. He played college football at a small college in Kansas named McPherson. The McPherson Bulldog. I only know of McPherson because my daughter was this close to going to McPherson at one time. She dated a boy that played on the soccer team there, and she almost moved to Kansas and went to school there. So it was very interesting to be looking up information about Ed and find out that he was from McPherson State College, or McPherson College. They're in Kansas. It's up in the northern part of the state. Very small school, very, very small school up there. But that's where he played football. And you're right, he was in the Fan Control League. So that brings us to 4 quarterbacks. Leo, you don't think they're going to run with 4 quarterbacks after camp. So
no,
at least one of these guys, and probably 2 of them, are going to end up on the cutting room floor. Remember, the roster is not large in this league. We only have 21, 22, 23 spots on the team, on the roster to deal with.
And they still have that veteran rule, or did they take that out?
No, as far as I know, the veteran rule is still in place, although I'd love to ask Don about that. Don will have some more information. He was in all the owners' meetings, and I'd love to pick his brain about that when he comes on.
I know they were going to push for some changes to that rule. And I don't know how successful that was, or if they did modify it at all. So I'd be interested to know, because that's going to affect the roster of every team in the league.
It sure would, yeah.
Every single team. And for the quarterback situation, you got 4 guys. Coach mentioned when he was on the show that he was very enthusiastic, very excited about the 3 guys they have. Which makes you wonder, there's always a question why you bring a 4th guy in if you're in that situation. But there's also the old saying where it goes, if you can make your football team better, you do that.
Yeah.
And so if Ed Crouch makes the football team better by bringing him in, whether it's because they see him as being on the roster, being your starter, or being your backup, or just being another guy to bring into camp to make the other guys work that much harder, and iron sharpens iron, and go that route, then why not? If he's interested in coming to San Antonio and trying to be a gunslinger, and the Gunslingers are interested in him and see him as a high level talent, then all for that move.
You remember the competition between Nate and David back in the day with the quarterbacks? That was fun.
I do. I remember that very well.
I do. Philip made some enemies in that
Really,
I did show with those comments. All he did was compare guys to, who he pictured them seeing their game in practice and what their skill set was like. He compared them to NFL players, NFL veteran players, which you think
Super Bowl
winners, which you think any guy at this level would be more than thrilled to be compared, regardless of the name.
Right.
But
at the risk,
not what happened.
At the risk of picking at old wounds and opening something up. It's a great story.
RC already did it.
There's so many people that may not know what we're talking about. So the first season of the San Antonio Gunslingers, we had 2 quarterbacks, both of them great guys, both great athletes. David Oliveira and Nate Mace. Both fun guys, both great guys. I liked both of them. We had them on a show early on. We had the whole quarterback room, both quarterbacks on the show. And we were talking to them a little bit. We had watched them in practice some. And I compared Nate to like a Brett Favre sort of creator, gunslinger kind of guy. Mm-hmm. And then I compared David to Brad Johnson, pocket passer, stays in the pocket, tries to find options downfield. He did not like that at all. Like from that point on, he did not care for me. Made it pretty clear, still will from time to time.
Yeah.
Make it pretty clear that he doesn't like me very much. And it all started there. It got worse throughout the season, but I really didn't mean I wasn't trying to slight him at all. I was trying to think of a good, solid pocket passer that was somebody who had a long career in the NFL and won a Super Bowl. Like this is a good quarterback. Is he a Hall of Fame quarterback? No, I didn't compare you to some Hall of Famer, but I'll be real honest with you. If you gave me my choice back in that day of Brett Favre or Brad Johnson, I'd have to tell you I'd have to sleep on it because Brett Favre was a Hall of Fame quarterback, but he also threw 5 interceptions a game sometimes.
Right.
Brad Johnson didn't do that. Brad Johnson was not a risk taker. He was a game manager and a really good one. I thought I was being really complimentary, but David did not agree. And that kind of started things off on a rocky path. And then from that point on, anytime I was critical of David's game, which is something that I do because I analyze the game. That's part of what we do as a show. And anytime I was critical of David's game, he didn't like that at all.
Pops would really jump on us.
His family, his dad, and
all great people. But
still will lurk from time to time around the show. And so I'm sure somebody will get this information to him and be like, they were talking about David again, and we'll hear from them again. How many Super Bowls did Brad Johnson win? What? He won 1 Super Bowl with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, with the John Gruden Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and Brett Favre won 1 Super Bowl. I really thought I was doing the right.
Well, you see what I'm pointing at right now, because part of this story, Philip, and it's all your fault, but I love it. I wouldn't change anything about it.
Tell about the helmet.
That helmet right there is very special to me. It is a signed Gunslingers helmet from season 1 of the San Antonio Gunslingers, the inaugural season. And every player signed that helmet right there.
Yep.
Every player except for Jaleel Ali, who couldn't make the trip for the championship game. I think he had a family. It was either a family commitment or he was trying out for a higher level, something like that. I don't remember. I don't want to. I'm not sure. He couldn't make the trip though, and he was the only one who wasn't there. And I never was able to get with him to sign that helmet. But David Olvera signed that helmet. It's on there. And you know how he signed it?
Proof.
Brad. It had his number and then his name, Brad, which when I read that, I thought about it for 2 seconds and realized what he did. And I loved it. I laughed. I still laugh when I see it. I still laugh. I was like, that's all Philip.
Yeah. I mean, it is. It was me.
All Philip.
So, it is what it is. Everybody was convinced I hated David, and I did not at all. No. I really, really liked him.
Great guy.
I really think that he's a very athletic quarterback. I think his athleticism was the problem. He could have been more athletic than he liked to be, and that was part of the issue. But that is the past, and we are ready to move into the future. And to do that, we get to talk to the guys in charge. We join or we welcome to the show Don Rackler, James Stubing, the ownership of the San Antonio Gunslingers. How you guys doing tonight?
We're guns up.
Guns up.
Yes, sir.
So we're 19 days out. How are you guys feeling?
Feeling good. We're gonna have an awesome team. We got a lot of new young talent, a lot of experienced talent. So I think we're gonna have a really great team.
For sure.
Awesome.
Let's go all the way back to the start of this whole thing. You guys joined or got connected with the Gunslingers just as a sponsor at first. You were a high-level sponsor for the team, and eventually through that first season as a team, as a sponsor, you wound up in control of the team. And we don't need to litigate all of that. That's not important. Why? Why would you put the investment into it? What were you hoping to do with the investment that you were putting in?
Well, this is a team and a league for the hardworking people in San Antonio. This is for people who work construction and wait tables and drive trucks and all those kinds of things. Not the people that have more affluent jobs wouldn't come, but this is affordable professional football that's affordable for most people can come and enjoy a great game. The Spurs are great and the Dallas Cowboys are great, but it's not the cheapest ticket in town to go see either one of those. And There's a lot of people in San Antonio that's probably never seen a Spurs game. And we want to have a great professional football team for the good, hardworking people of San Antonio and South Texas.
What you talk with Randy Carroll? The video hit last week. You had a conversation with Randy Carroll, and one of your big messages was that you are all in.
That's true. We're all in. We're committed. We're going to make a success of this. We're going into our 5th year, and we've done a lot of things behind the scenes. We got a lot of new sponsors, which is what we need. If there's anybody out there that owns a business that wants to be a sponsor, we're still looking for sponsors that would be a part of this great organization. That's it's a good thing for the good people of San Antonio. But that's kind of where we're headed.
What makes this team, this experience, special for the guys that drive a truck or the ladies that wait tables, the families, the working families of San Antonio? What are they going to see when they come to a game? What is your hope?
They're going to see an amazing performance by professional athletes. They're going to see an amazing show from the beginning to the end. We put on a great performance. It's exciting from the beginning to the end. You're going to see high scoring, passing. These guys run harder, jump higher, hit harder than most NFL players. These guys play to win. We're high scoring, typical 50, 60, 70 points on each side. We have a great halftime event. We have 18 beautiful cheerleaders that I'll put them up against the Dallas Cowboy cheerleaders. They are all cute and great dancers and professional ladies. And it's just great family entertainment.
And our whole focus is fan first throughout the entire night. It's all about the fans. It's fun from beginning to end, on the field, off the field. The music we play is wholesome. Nobody's going to get offended when they come to our games.
Yeah, guys. Don, thanks for joining us. We've had a chance to talk to James in the past and thank James for keeping a top-notch professional football organization in San Antonio. So I want to take the opportunity to thank you as well, Don, for stepping in and doing that for us. The fans that really enjoy the Gunslingers brand of football and the Freeman Coliseum. What is your favorite thing about game night? What do you enjoy the most? What makes you feel like this is something you can just go on and on doing on any given game night there in the Freeman?
I love to see the smile on our fans' face. I love to see them happy, being into the game and hollering and rooting for our team. We're very loud when we score. We have very loyal fans that love the game, and my goal is to pack the house. That would be the icing on the cake for me. Just if we could fill up that auditorium. It holds a little over 7,000. Would be my goal and my happiness. And the truth of the matter is, we need to get into that 5,000 or 6,000 folks a game to really make this thing work. And so. We hope everybody that's ever come to a game, bring somebody with you so we can double our attendance. But that would make it for me, that we can continue to be successful and we can continue the team. Our goal is to be the first professional football team in San Antonio to bring a championship to San Antonio and South Texas. The mayor said if we did that, he was going to let us have a parade downtown. So I'm hoping
nice
on the river.
That's exciting.
I would love
Yeah, I
that.
wanted to also say thank you so much for everything that you've done for the city and especially for the high school. I know with your company, you named Player of the Week, and that really means so much to us. I'm going to say as fans, because we make those connections. Because now those high school students have something to look forward to. They can come be part of the team, they can come try out, they can actually come to a practice. So, out of the bottom of my heart, I want to say thank you as a mom who's been in sports and gone to the games. The role model that you have accomplished by just doing that is amazing. So thank you for that.
Thank you. My pleasure. It's our honor to do that.
Yeah, you've got a name that's connected with football all the way back before the Gunslingers. The Texas Sports Productions and high school football in San Antonio is a big thing that you're passionate about and that you put a lot of effort into as well. That's actually my first contact with you. I worked with Texas Sports Productions way back in the day covering Lavernia high school football. And that's where I kind of became associated with Texas Sports Productions. And then with the name John Wayne being in Lavernia, you can't really get away from John Wayne. It's kind of everywhere around Lavernia. When the original ownership, the OG3, were asking about who they should contact for some sponsorship ideas. I'm sure I'm not the only one that told them to check with John Wayne, but I knew that you were excited about football and that this might be a good fit. So I love that this has all worked out the way it has. One of the things you see in this particular level of the sport in indoor football is teams that try to do it as cheaply as they can, as cost efficiently as they can. And so they tend to cut some corners here or there. And that is not something that we see around this organization. Why is that, Don? Why is this organization run differently than any other indoor organization is?
Well, I think it just some of the core values that I bring to John Wayne. I mean, we're John Wayne. We're about providing the best products and the best service to our customers every day. Mm-hmm. About having the best people, the best trained people, reliable people, good people. And so that's the John Wayne motto. And here at the Gunslingers, it's the same thing. With players, we look for character first. We look, are they good people? Can they be a gunslinger? And then secondly, can they play football? And so that's how we look at the team. We're the only team in the IFL that has its own full-time training facility. We have our own field. You guys have been over there.
Yep.
And it's and so we wanted to have the best so we could acquire the best. And I think that's working out for us. There's many players that are in the league that want to come here because of our commitment, what we believe, our facility, our core values. And so I think that's working for us. And, we just want to deliver on that. And, I'm going to do something or I'm not. You can't do anything halfway. I mean, if you're not fully committed, it's not going to happen. So I'm fully committed. And, my goal is just to make this thing break even. If I can get it to break even and I can continue to provide this level of entertainment for the good people of San Antonio, South Texas, man, that will just be perfect for me. Unfortunately, at this point, it has not. We've been operating in the red, and that's okay. But we're going to get there. We are.
Yeah, we've made big strides every year. Just partnerships, fan engagement. Obviously, Randy Carroll joining our ownership group.
Sure.
Huge. It was awesome at the rodeo. All the people that came up is like, tell me about this team. They just he opens us up to an audience we haven't been able to tap before. So we're doing every year we do new things and we break into new ground. So we're excited about where we're going now.
I am hearing less and less. Oh, there's an indoor football team, and more. Oh, I've heard of them. I haven't been out to a game yet. So at least that is shifting. I
get the same thing because everywhere I wear this Gunslinger jersey, and people are like, used to be, what is that? And now it's, I know who that is. And I said, well, you've been to a game? No. I said, well, you're going to come to a game, and I'm going to promise you, if you come to a game, you're going to be a fan. So just be prepared.
Yep.
So that's our motto. If you come to the game, we know we can make a fan out of you. Yeah. And also, I don't know, but our guarantee is that if you come to a game, you're not happy, you're not satisfied for any reason, no reason at all, I will give you your money back.
Wow.
I don't think there's any other professional sports organization that does that. That is wild. But thinking about that, it's 100% true. Anybody that comes out to this game experience, they're going to know why you can back that up, why you can make that promise and back it up, because very few people are going to come out there and be able to honestly say that they didn't have a great night.
And if that's the case, then that's fine. We'll back up our guarantee. But I guarantee most of them, they're going to come and they're going to become fans, because it's exciting, it's fun from beginning to end. When we took over the team, we didn't know anything about running a football team. I ran an AC company,
right?
A plumbing company, an electric company. I didn't know anything about running a football team. Luckily, my family, James, my daughter, my grandkids, they all jumped in, and Robert Seco, is just absolutely amazing at his videography. The things that he can put together is just
incredible,
unbelievable. And so we had to learn a lot, because there's a lot of moving parts that goes on behind this game to make that thing happen on time, the way it's supposed to happen. And so it's a lot of work behind the scenes. A lot of people don't see it. There's a lot of expenses that people don't understand. For example, that's $250,000 field that we bought last year.
Yep.
That field's $250,000 for that field.
Yep.
But
it looks gorgeous.
And looks gorgeous.
And it's kind of field that everybody's going to. It also helps with the putting it down and taking it up. It goes so much faster now than when we used to have to roll out those big rolls. So, but I mean, there's a lot of investment, and we're committed, and we're going to make a success of this. I just hope the good people of San Antonio and other business owners, or anybody that's charitable organizations, people that want to come and sponsor us, we would love for them to be a part of this.
Let's talk a little bit about
you started off as a sponsor. So if someone's watching or listening and they're thinking, oh, I'm just a small business, I can't do much, what would be the smallest amount, or how could they contribute to the success of the team as a sponsor?
We have packages in the $1,000 range,
couple of thousand.
You tell us what you want to spend, and we'll create a package for you.
We could work it where it's based around tickets, where they get their employees to come, or their clients. We've got game program where they could put an ad that causes a fan to go to their store and engage with them. We've got concourse where they can hand out coupons. I mean, we're the masters at building things that actually help the advertiser accomplish the goals they want. I tell my sales team, we don't want to take people's money and not deliver something that actually helps their business. So we can craft this thing, and they've got to be willing to work with us and follow our direction. But there's all kinds of ways that we can drive business to them through the avenues that we have and the fan engagement that we get.
And it's not only that you would come and be a sponsor and it would benefit your business, but what you're really buying into, you're doing something good for the community. You're buying into a team that is going to be your professional football team that you can come and enjoy and bring your family and kids and be proud of. And so it's that part of the equation as well.
I love that. Thank you for that. Thank you for sharing.
Let's talk a little bit about the IFL. You guys joined the IFL last year, and so now you've been in a full year. You've been able to participate in all the off-season sort of work for the first time, from the end of the season all the way up to right here at the beginning of the season. What is it like to work in the IFL? You guys had that experience in the NAL, and you decided you needed to move up and step up. What about the IFL is good, and what are some things that maybe aren't great about being part of this league, or are there any things that's not great?
Night and day, without disparaging where we came from.
Sure.
I actually hope that the NAL teams would come up to the IFL, and we could be a bigger league. And so I'm glad that they're prospering. Omaha Beef and all those guys join the NAL, and I wish them all the best. And I hope that we all can come together. I think Don said it many times. If all of these teams would just work together in one league, we would own the world in professional indoor football, and everybody would prosper. So it's it's an interesting thing where all these factions happen and whatever. So aside from that, I think everything I've seen about the IFL has been positive and moving forward. I'm still I was hoping by now I could be more open. There's a new network coming. We're getting away from the traps and pitfalls of YouTube. Every time we have a game, if Bon Jovi "Living on a Prayer" comes through that speaker, it can shut down the broadcast. So I mean, and we're moving to a platform where that's not an issue. It's going to be on Apple TV, Roku, Fire, smart TVs. It's going to be accessible to everyone. But we're moving forward in those kinds of things. The fact that the league, all the teams in the league are wearing Adidas uniforms. Those are the kinds of things that big corporate sponsors want to see to really feel like they're dealing with a true professional league. And the IFL and the leadership that Todd and all of the owners have been moving towards has moved us towards that place. So I'm really happy that we made the decision to move into the IFL. It's been a good one.
Just to expand on that, the IFL is a well-run organization, and they just don't let anybody join the league. I mean, there's a lot of teams that want to join the league, but unfortunately, they didn't meet the criteria. They didn't have the financials that they needed because they don't want to bring a team into the league and then 3 games in, they can't finish the season. It just messes it up for everybody. And
can you say 2023?
and it just gives the whole league a black eye. So that's what happened to the NAL, as you guys may remember. So that's not going to happen in the IFL. All the teams are solid, run by great people and financially secure. And, the goal is to get it up to 24 teams. We really hope that happens. And as James says, if we have some of these other leagues, really, they're just fragmented leagues and really they're just an eyesore to the whole indoor football league, not disparaging them. But they sometimes they have games, sometimes they don't have games, So it would be great if we could just get the cream of the crop and bring them into the IFL. We would have a really, really special league, which we have a special league now, but it would be just much better.
James, you were talking about the streaming information, and James Palmer on Facebook is asking, will that app, and you may not be able to say yet, will that be a free app or will there be a paywall that we'll have to subscribe to something to make that work? Or do you know yet?
That's going to be tough to answer right now. I know that all those options are being explored, and it's definitely balancing the fans' needs with the league's needs and the cost to do things. So all of that will be worked out. I guarantee you on the front end, at the very beginning, it'll be free, and we'll see how it goes.
There's actually something on the IFL site called Snipback. Is that what they're referring to?
No, Snipback is a replacement to what we do with camera, watching the plays and recording them so that the coaches real time can check something that happened on the field, but also go back and review film with their players and their other coaches. So Snipback is a replacement to VidSwap.
Gotcha.
I will say that your broadcast is top notch all the way around, except that color guy. That color analyst.
We're looking. So we're trying to find someone.
He's a little rough, but everything else, Ralph and all the rest of that is great, and the quality is top notch. But that color analyst, I don't know about that guy.
Yeah. Well, I'll just tell you this: you guys do the best commentating in the league. Top notch. You guys are the best.
It's a blast. It's really fun. I live down in Palacios where I'm a pastor, and so I drive about 3 hours to come up for a game and 3 hours home each night because they're on Saturday nights, and I got to get back for Sunday morning. It doesn't bother me at all. I have such a blast coming up for the games that I really enjoy doing it enough to drive 6 hours on a Saturday to come out to the game.
At the owners' meetings, it was expressed to others because we watched the other games too, and some of the commentating was not very good, and that's not good for the league either. So you guys are an example of how it should be done.
Yeah,
and so we greatly appreciate what you got Ralph do.
We actually put in some work. Like Ralph puts in a lot of work and does a lot, maybe even more work than he needs to sometimes. But I don't know that you can ever do too much work.
I don't think Ralph ever sleeps. He's always thinking about something.
He is always putting something together.
I believe that.
James Palmer also wondering when the first day of practice that fans can show up and watch will be there at Gunslinger
Good
Nation.
question.
I don't know. I got a lot of dates in my head, but that first Saturday coming up, I think we'll open the field up. That'll be the first day of true practice on the field, and from 9 to noon, fans are welcome to come in and
Will that be the
March
8th?
8th. March 8th.
March 8th.
March 8th.
Yeah, show up at the fence. We may have the gate just partially open. Park along the fence. There's slots, and then walk in. Bring a lawn chair. We don't have a bleachers or anything, but bring some lawn chairs or stand around and enjoy the view. It's gonna be pretty exciting.
One thing I love about the games are the different themes. Can you give us a sneak preview and tell us one of the themes that we might see this season?
Well, I'm excited that we're going to get to play Jacksonville at the end, towards the end of the season, and then Quad City Steamwheelers.
Yeah.
The owner Doug Bland actually lives in Castroville. He moved here during COVID, and he runs the team from San Antonio. So it's neat that he's bringing the team in, and then they get to go to his house and have dinner with him the night before we play. So pretty cool.
That is
So
cool.
I like that stuff.
But for his theme nights, we're going to have a lot of the similar things. We're going to have military night, first responders night, Star Wars night. What's some of the others? The character night. I can't remember what they call that.
Superhero. First
Yep.
responders, military appreciation.
Now you're
the opening game is
Yeah.
fan appreciation.
Why?
Love that.
I'm very curious. So many teams do fan appreciation at the end of the season. You guys are starting the season that way. Why? There's a reason you did that way. Why did you decide to do it that way?
They are the number one component. They're the number one asset we have to make this a successful team.
Gotcha.
They're the most important people in the building is our fans, and we have to have them. And so we want to show
Love it.
appreciation for them.
Yep. Fan first focus.
Robert Seco checking in on Facebook says, so proud to go into battle with this family. He's all in. I'm all in. Robert does some amazing work.
He's the best.
Yes, he does.
Just
Very
absolutely incredible.
Incredible value. This guy he's truly amazing.
So I apologize for not hearing RC's question clearly. I'm a little tone deaf on the high note.
And team, they sound very close. As a speech pathologist, I totally understand.
So what did
worries.
What did you guys think of the interview and the branding video?
Oh,
Wonderful.
your
Amazing.
video with Randy and you, Don, was incredible. I love that you just kind of you put everything out there. You say exactly what you want this team to be, what your vision for. I'm a pastor, and one of the big things as a pastor is vision, casting vision, and telling everybody where we're going together. And if you can do that, I think people jump on board. And it was a master class in this is my vision for what this is, and it allows people to jump on board or not. If they read that or see that and they go, I'm not into the whole patriotic, crazy stuff. That's just not for me. Great. You know, before you ever jump on board that's something that you're going to get and something that's going to be a part of the organization. I love the idea of just casting that vision very clearly and saying, this is who we are. And we want you to be a part of that. I thought it was great.
We live in a military town, man.
Right?
Yeah.
Love it.
See about these things.
Well,
For
we
sure.
live in
Makes
the
sense.
greatest country in the history of the world. And if you can't be proud of this country, what country are you going to be proud of?
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Mikey Garcia.
Touched on some very good points, and I love that. You made that connection with the cheerleaders, with the six shooters, with the people behind the scenes. And that connection is what keeps us coming back. Because literally it takes one game and you're hooked. You really are.
Absolutely.
I just got to get them to the Coliseum.
Yep.
Just gotta get
We'll
him in
get
there.
them in there for you. Don't worry.
And then we'll lock the doors. We won't let them leave.
Oh my, okay.
Mikey Garcia on Facebook said he would gladly donate to Military Night for BMT men and women. If they want to do something like that, what's the best way to get in contact with the team and make that a possibility?
there's a section on our website about the VetTix system that we work with. Every game, we offer a number of tickets to the VetTix system, so those guys can come to the game for free. And we're always looking for donors and sponsors to help support that system. And then, just easily fill out a contact form and just state your heart about that, and I'll connect with you.
Thank you, Mr. Garcia.
Alex McSwain, earlier you mentioned new uniforms. Have you seen them yet? Are they similar to last year? Are they different? He's very curious about what new uniforms might look like from Adidas.
Well, we'll know in a couple of days if they fit.
Okay.
They're going to look real similar to what we had before, same colors and everything.
Yeah,
it's just a different manufacturer. We got Adidas this time.
Yep.
But we're going to look real similar. I don't know that the fans will be able to tell the difference.
Yeah, probably not. I mean, one of our arguments about going to the Adidas deals is that we've had high quality uniforms for the last few years. I mean, unifying under Adidas has its own benefits, but we've always been had high quality uniforms on the field, so you'll love them.
You got to participate in ownership meetings. I know they're making a lot of changes on rules. I'm very excited about rule changes. One of the things that I don't think changed that we all talked about last season was this veterans rule.
Nope, no move on that.
Is that something that you got more clarification on, or you understand a little better why it exists, or is that just something that's still kind of a relic of a team that ran over the league for almost a decade, and so they put something in place to try to help with that?
I don't know.
That's what they say. I really am not a fan for a veteran rule. I think people ought to get the players that the best players that they can get and not be restricted. And the reason why I say that, because we're in the sports entertainment business.
Yep.
Right. And the Spurs are going to get the best players. The Cowboys are going to get their best players. We should have the same opportunity to get the best players. And so I'm hoping that that'll go away, or that'll ease up some, because there's a lot of good players out there that we can't put on our team because we're restricted to the veteran rule. But that's the rules, and so we have to abide by that. But I wish we could get away from it completely.
Camp starts this Saturday. Is that also the case? They're coming in this weekend. Is that when they're getting started with camp?
Yeah, they start arriving Thursday. So
okay, great.
By Saturday, we've already gone through physicals, gone through all the formalities, and they're checked into their hotel, and they're ready to get going on Saturday morning. They're going to be hitting hard.
Of the newcomers, is there anyone that you're really excited to see what they show in camp, or you think fans need to really be looking at and be excited about?
I think there's a lot of interesting players and their abilities that are coming in. I'm kind of waiting. I'm seeing what all they can bring, and I haven't made a judgment yet. I'm looking forward to it unfolding in front of us.
Well, so much of that is the purview of your head coach and general manager, Tom Manas. Talk a little bit about Tom and what made you guys decide to last season in the offseason connect with Tom Manas and bring him into San Antonio.
Well, we wanted from the very beginning, we wanted to see if we could. Well, my wife was like, we need to get Tom Manas. And I said, well, I don't know if we'd ever get Tom Manas. This guy's, he's at the top of the league here in coaching. And he called us. And he called and said, hey, I've researched you. I know everything about you. I know what your values are, what your team is, and what you're trying to accomplish. And he said he'd like to be a part of that. And so awesome. that's how that came about.
Yeah, I'll never forget sitting at home and James calling me just before that happened and saying, if you could have anybody as the head coach of the San Antonio Gunslingers, who would you want? And I said, Tom. I didn't even take a breath. I said, Tom Manas. And I think Tom would be surprised to hear that story, because I think he thinks I don't like him. I wanted him here. I wanted him here from the start, and I'm excited that he's our coach and he's making the decisions out on the field, and I think that he is a proven winner, and that's what we want. Yeah. What are your expectations for the season? On the field, what are your on the field expectations for the season?
You mean far as wins and losses, or
Yeah.
what? Yes.
Mhm.
Well, we're going to be way at the top. That's my. We're going to make the playoffs, and we're going to win a championship.
There you go.
So
I love it.
That's what's going to happen. So if you're
I
a
love
bet
it.
man, bet on Slingers.
There you go. I mean, last year we had the number one offense in the league, number one quarterback,
Number one kicker.
number one kicker.
But-
We had the highest scoring game in the league.
Mhm.
So I mean, we came in, we're the rookie of the league coming in, and we tore up some stuff. 8-8 at the end. I think some officiating was problematic. We didn't have all our ducks in a row on the defense side. We dial that in. We are a force to be reckoned with.
Yeah, just expanding on that. Yeah, we had the poorest referees in the league.
Oh my
Mm.
gosh.
Yes.
I agree.
None of them will be back. And we have a commitment from the league. We're going to have the best referees in the league at our home games.
Yeah, they adjusted the flights. And
They
bringing them.
got burned down for me at the owners meeting about refereeing, and the head of refereeing, he's the one who agreed with me as well that they were pathetic. And I told him, here from the fan aspect. I mean, here we are, and we lose games because of a ridiculous call.
Right.
I know you can't see everything and things happen fast, but some of these calls we had was just unbelievably ridiculous.
Well, and some of the rule changes that they've made will make it easier for those guys on the field in real time to officiate the game. That is ultimately the goal of a lot of these rule changes. It's going to make it more defensive. The game's more defensive, but they're going to have to clock less as they watch the game, which will allow them to really call what's important more.
Exactly. You got to call the things that are important, and things are not important. It doesn't matter. And my point to the league owners is that if we're going to have a professional league, we have to have professional umpires. We have to have professional referees. We can't have professional players with a bunch of people that don't know the rules.
Right.
So
I know one area that we're number one in. That's merchandise. We have the best merchandise ever, from earrings to shirts to everything. So I'm excited about all that.
yeah, got new jerseys coming this year too.
Woo!
Very excited.
Can't wait.
Before we get too far off of what we were just talking about, I think that the IFL tried to, tweak the rules to be, heavy offense and make the defense, struggle. And I think they went too far, and now they're bringing it back to more to center. And we're going to see a better game on the field this year. And there were fans behind me. I heard them. They were just, it was tearing them up to see the stuff that the refs weren't catching. And I think that simplifying the rules is going to make for a better experience.
I think there is a poor kind of short-sighted idea that fans only like offense, and that to get fans in, you have to have high offensive numbers, and that's going to be what sells tickets and gets fans in. Initially, I think that's right. I think fans initially connect with big numbers on the offensive side, but they do not stick. Those people come in and then they see it and it gets boring and they leave. A game that is more balanced offensively and defensively will keep fans engaged longer than a game that is just offenses running up and down the field on each other. That gets boring after a time. And so I love all of the rule changes. I'm actually a big fan of. I'm very, very interested to see how this season plays out on the field.
Yeah, I think just from what we talked about a couple of weeks ago, all these rule changes, it's definitely going to help the defense, especially in coverage. And that was really the Gunslingers' biggest struggle last year was defense and those defensive backs. And we had some heartbreaking moments where, we all know that the indoor style of football is a fast-paced game, but there were moments where we thought we had a game won or we had a lead and we had it in the bag with very little time left. And next thing you know, we're looking at a 1-point loss because of a big play, passing play. So I think these rules are going to not cut that out entirely. The indoor brand of football is always going to be fast paced and exciting and always going to be a very offensive brand of football. But I think it's going to make it a lot easier for players to play defense and for officials to officiate so that defenses can be effective.
For sure. I agree.
Still getting a lot of flack from the league and the officials. Still getting a lot of flack for Cali getting kicked out of that game at the end of that game.
That was the worst call of the season. And actually, at the owners' meeting, the head of refereeing referred to that call. That was the worst call he'd ever seen in his 40 years in football. So
Wow.
that was just unbelievable.
I was very not excited in that moment. I was just as upset as any other Gunslinger fan. But Ralph and I, on the broadcast, you can go back and listen to that broadcast of that game in real time. We pointed out exactly what was wrong with the call and why it should not have been called the way it was. It was one of those moments where I felt good that at least we understood where they were wrong. I wish they'd understood what was happening on the field. He was stopping not to taunt or cause a problem, but simply to run some time off the clock and assure a win.
Yeah.
And that's just not, it did not matter in the long run. We still won that game, but not a great.
No, it doesn't look good.
No. Well, they are Don Rackler and James Stubing. They are part of the ownership. They are the ownership for the San Antonio Gunslingers. 19 days. Are you starting? James, is Jordan and April and your whole crew starting to get nervous about this first game coming up on the 22nd?
Well, my list is huge of all the things that I still have to wrap up and get done. And that's just how it goes. Every season it's like that. I just want it to be another week out, but it comes and we get through it and we do our best and everybody. I'm so proud of our team, all the things we're accomplishing, and looking forward to the best season ever.
If somebody's listening, watching this, they run across this and they don't know the easiest way to get a hold of tickets to the game, what's the best, easiest way to get their tickets purchased?
SanAntonioGunslingers.com. Click on the tickets and follow it. It's super easy. And my biggest thing is, if people don't like paying Ticketmaster fees, just go through it. It tells you the number to call, 210-298-7733. Jonathan will take care of you. He'll get you what you need, and can't make it any easier than that.
Last question from Alex McSwain. He said last year he came out to Gunslinger Nation for open practices and Fiesta medal giveaways and more. Any special plans in the works for fans at Gunslinger Nation that you want to talk about or tease as we wrap things up?
I got one thing. We're having a real season ticket only party, and that'll be right before the.
Exciting.
So suite holders, party zone tables, and everybody that's bought season tickets, you're going to have a special deal, a special party upstairs at the Freeman. I don't know if y'all know about the Directors Club. Right above the entrance is a really nice place, and we're going to be having a little party up there the Thursday night before the game. So we're about to release information on that. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Very cool. If you are a season ticket holder, then you'll be looking for that information. If you are not a season ticket holder,
become a season ticket holder.
Fix it.
It's pretty easy.
It happen.
Yeah.
Well, the other thing on that Directors Club, we're going to have that open for every game. It'll be open to those who want to participate. There will be a fee to go in. They will have a full bar upstairs. TVs will be on, and you can go in 2 hours before the game.
1 hour before doors open, which is 2 hours before the game, and then a couple hours after. So it'll be the happening place to hang out.
And you'll be able to go up there, and if you want to have a drink or whatever, watch TV. You can't bring your drinks back down, so it's separate from the rest of it. But it'll be available for those who want to do that.
And we're going to have 2 drinks, the Gunslinger and the 6-shooter. And it'll be
I love it.
So
that's
I'm
awesome.
so excited.
We're working all that out right now.
Well, we're going to let you guys go. We know you've got 19 days to do a lot of work. Thank you so much for joining us and getting us excited about the season. It's going to be a great season, and we're looking forward to all the fun. of 8 games there in Freeman Coliseum. Heck, you know what? Let's do 9. Let's do 9 games in the Freeman Coliseum. What do you think?
Yeah.
Yep.
I like that.
Or 10. Can we do 10? Let's do 10 games in the Coliseum.
It's possible.
Let's make it happen.
Hey, it is going to happen. So you can just pencil it in now.
That's Don Rackler and
All
Jim
right.
Stubing. Thanks you so much, guys. We appreciate you. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
I look forward to seeing you on the 22nd.
Guns up.
All right.
See you soon.
Woo! I'm excited.
Woo!
I am
Yeah.
excited. That is going to be a great time. I love that deal, the Directors Club. That sounds like
Yeah. That is
Wonderful idea.
cool.
we got to figure out if we're invited to that whole deal.
Right?
I'm already going. I don't know about you.
RC's
You have a
RC's
show
like,
to
"Oh,
get
man.
in.
RC's getting in. I don't think they'll be able to stop her.
I'm getting in one way or another.
Mass Bandit of San Antonio got goosebumps. Nerves are working up. Beyond excited for a third year as a fan. Second year as a season ticket holder.
Woo.
We're excited to have you
Same.
out there, man. Very excited to see some of that. Yeah, the Michael Benjamin Sr. asked when the first home game is. That is the 22nd, March 22nd, 6 p.m.
You too.
Freeman Coliseum. Playing the Tulsa Oilers, not the Tulsa Drillers. That's a baseball team. We don't want to play the baseball team. Maybe
Right,
we do want
right.
to play the baseball team.
Well, it should be a win if we play them, right? If we play our game.
Right.
Yeah.
James,
If we play them coming on into the Freeman Coliseum
On the first
and
game,
play our game, then I have no doubts we're winning that one.
James Palmer says they're going to make you flip a coin to get in, RC. And it has to actually flip.
oh, don't even go there. Don't go there. Don't go there.
Oh,
Can't
That
just
was
be
not my
straight up,
fault.
straight down.
The
Shots
coin
fired.
I practiced with was a different size than the original one. No one told me that. I would have
was,
worked harder with that flip.
I was telling
Not
my
my
daughters
fault.
that story a couple of weeks ago. We were talking about your coin flip. Oh, at the Super Bowl. I was telling somebody about your coin flip. When I was at a Super Bowl party, I was talking about your coin flip.
I gotta practice that.
This is
It's
more like a
time for
coin
another
drop.
season, man. Fifth season of Gunslinger football. I'll be really honest with you. When we started this whole thing off,
Oh God.
I wasn't.
Yeah.
If you'd have told me we would make it 5 years, I'd have said, "Yeah, I'm not sure about that." We'd been through such a rough time with the Commanders. We did everything right, and it still fell apart.
Right?
This has been great. This has been a great ride, and now we ride into the fifth season of the San Antonio Gunslingers, and it's going strong. Like I don't imagine it going anywhere, and that's really exciting.
Yeah.
That's really kind of neat.
I can't envision the spring coming along or after the Super Bowl and we're done with all the NFL stuff. I can't imagine a time not looking forward to Gunslingers football, because it's right around the corner.
Yeah.
It's been 5 years now, and I don't see an end in sight with the way things are going now. We needed to be better on our parts. I think James and Don made it clear. Like they've been operating in the red, and they need to get. They didn't even say they need to get in the black. They just need to break even.
Right.
And this will be sustainable, even breaking even for as long as they can envision seeing it. Obviously, you're not going to be able to lose money indefinitely. That's not feasible.
No.
But it's kind of snowballed, like where we're at 5 years compared to where we were, a year ago, 2 years ago, 3 years ago, 4 years ago. It's just getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And the more people make it out to these games and see what Gunslinger football is all about. And now that we're in a league like the IFL, see what IFL football is all about. I only see it getting bigger. So I'm very excited about it.
Yeah, it's really exciting. And I like that it's something different. Like, look, nothing against, the UFL or the IFA. The outdoor football game is one that I will always love. I love it. I love the game.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But it's nice to have something a little different too. It's nice to have a different expression of football that we can get into and get excited about. And it's not, I don't think you can ever have too much football, but I'm starting to get a little,
what's the word?
Saturated.
Yeah, oversaturated a little bit with the traditional version of football. I'm so glad that we have the Gunslingers to provide a different look. I love pizza. But if I eat pizza for every meal, I would not like pizza at some point.
Yeah.
Throwing in spaghetti every now and then, or why is it all Italian food? But anyway, obviously I like the carbs. I mean, obviously. Throwing in barbecue every now and then makes it all work out well. James Palmer said if they want to wrap my car, you could use it for free advertising. Right? Ditto.
Yeah.
I'd let them put a gunslinger wrap on my truck. I'd drive it around.
I'd let them to put at least on a window.
Those trucks they have wrapped, they look super
Oh,
cool. And
I love those.
The Hummer, oh man, it's a really. They've got such a great color scheme and logo, and they were talking earlier about the branding, and that Don was saying wearing his jersey out, and it's not so much anymore like what is that, as more like, oh, I recognize that, it's the Gunslingers. He says, have you ever been to a game? They say no. It's like, well, why not? You need to come out. That actually just happened to me this past weekend. I went to a poker game on Saturday night, and I was wearing this hat, actually the same hat I'm wearing now, and someone at the table, I did. I don't regret it. Sorry, not sorry.
Okay.
Stole that hat from me. I was gonna get that hat.
They were supposed to hold it for you. I don't know.
They were, and they sold it to you instead. I'm still.
It was at the table. How was I supposed to know that was the one they were supposed to hold for you and not?
4 seasons later, I'm still salty. It was the final game of the first season of the Gunslingers in the Rose Bowl.
It was. Yes.
And I'm still salty.
Yeah, and I love this hat.
Anyway, you were saying.
Yeah.
You were saying.
Oh yeah. So sitting at a poker table, there were 8 of us there, and one guy said, "Hey, that's a cool hat," and I said, "Yeah, San Antonio Gunslingers, indoor football." And another guy on the other side of the table goes, "Yeah, man." And I was like, "Hey, you've been to a game?" He's like, "Oh yeah, I've been to several." And I was like, "Man, they're so much fun." He's like, "Yeah, they're great." And then so 2 people of the 8 people there had actually been to games and knew what it was all about. And then the other 6, that's now they know, and they've been told by not just me. There was another person there, and hopefully that'll be more. More people going to poker games or whatever it is you go to. You're gonna have people to join you and saying, "Oh yeah, I've been to those. They're awesome."
Alex McSwain, I wear my Gunslingers jersey out every other week and get comments. I spread the word. Really cool designs by Jordan. People notice. Yes, they do.
Mm-hmm.
Greg Nelson. Hey, Greg. What's up,
Greg? How are you?
Back windows of my truck are loaded with Gunslinger stickers. Haven't gone full truck yet. I was thinking, I said they could wrap my truck and I'd let them. Maybe not. I don't know that it would be appropriate for me to drive up to drive in the procession of the funeral, because I do have to do funerals from time to time as my job in a Gunslinger's truck. That might not work.
Maybe not.
Great deal.
Maybe not.
I need to get a Gunslinger for my window, for my back window, but maybe not the whole truck.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe I can't do that.
We used to have that smoking guns on the car, on the windows.
Yeah, I wish we had some more of those, because I'd put one on my truck. We used to have smoking guns with window stickers.
Was it J Bone's wife, Hannah, made those for us?
Similar to those, right there. Yeah.
Yep. Sure
those
did.
are cool.
Sure did.
Yep.
James Palmer gets stopped all the time and asked about Gunslinger shirts all the time.
Yeah. I tend to try and wear a jersey, but every weekend where we go out to eat or something like that and see if people, and I do get reactions from time to time. They're great designs. I can't agree more than Jordan Stubing doing great designs with these jerseys that we go out. I mean, I got a ton of them. I got a closet full. That reminds me, I saw Greg, and I love seeing some of the old the old Gunslinger fans that have been around since since the very beginning. And I saw since the barn days. I saw Michael Wayne Davis check in earlier. I don't know if he's still on. Michael Wayne Davis, I need to have a conversation with you because I was speculating earlier. We're talking about who can say they've been to every single Gunslingers home game and not ever missed one. And I can raise my hand to that. And I don't know of anybody else that might be able to do that except for you. I have a feeling maybe you can. And I'd love to find out if you could. I think it's awesome if you can. And there might be some people out there I'm not thinking of. But I just love going to these games, and they're so much fun. There's a time when we went to the Frisco Fighters, and I'm doing my guns up along the wall and doing the guns after a gunslinger score. And my son-in-law took that from the video and made a GIF of it, a GIF or GIF or however you want to pronounce it. And in our family texts, every now and then he pulls that up. It's GIF. Some people will argue and say GIF. Every now and then he pulls that up, and there I am doing the guns up, and it always makes me laugh.
Jessica Palmer says James Palmer wears gunslinger shirts 97% of the time. He gets stopped quite a bit.
Nice.
Well, there you go.
Love
Nice.
it. Love
Love it. Keep on doing it.
This hat, I was just thinking about this today. This hat I'm wearing right now, I have my kids laugh at me. My daughters and my wife laugh at me because I have about 100 baseball caps. Like, I have tons of baseball caps. When you're a bald man, you buy a lot of caps because you wear a lot of caps.
Okay.
But there are a handful. There are 2 or 3 that are like the main rotation. And this is one of those. This, a Dallas Stars hat, a Dallas Cowboys hat are in the main rotation. But I have tons of caps. And I wear most, but this is definitely one of the 3 in my main rotation. And I'll mix in a Texas Rangers cap, or, I've got 8 or 9 different Dallas Cowboys hats, I'll wear those out when I'm glutton for punishment for people to laugh at me for being a Dallas Cowboys fan. Fair. It's fair, but, every once in a while. James Palmer, those players were mad, and some fans were mad in Frisco.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That made it that much more fun.
Yeah, I don't understand fans that get mad at other fans who show up at their, like, I'm supporting your team. I paid money to be in your place, to come watch my team. Why can't we all just get along? To quote
we need to look at it as supporting the league, not just the team. That's really what we're doing.
That's true.
Exactly. I thought it was very interesting that Don Rackler said we're going to win a championship.
Oh, yeah.
That's his goal. Confidently.
Yes.
And it did not sound like it did not sound boasting or like bragging to me. It's just like that's the expectation. That's what we want to do. That's where we want to be. It rang a little differently than some of the other times that we've heard those kind of words.
Mm-hmm. It did. You're not wrong. That's 100%.
Alex McSwain, not sure if it counts, but I think Kali Rashad has been to every home game. That's true.
Yep.
And all the away games, so he's got you beat.
He's got me and anybody else beat every single game.
I am going to try to go to at least one away game. So maybe we can talk to the fans and see how we can make that work.
Jacksonville
would be
the
fun.
Shark Tank.
Closest one would be Tulsa.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but Jacksonville, the Shark Tank.
Do Oklahoma.
Shark Tank is a really neat experience. I got to go see the NAL championship game there 2 years ago when Jacksonville took on the Cobras. Should have been the Gunslingers, but it wasn't. But I got to go to that game, and the Shark Tank is an experience. It is something that you should actually make time for. It's 2 games in Tulsa. I believe that's right. James Palmer's going to Tulsa, he says.
What?
Nice.
So, well, we teased at the beginning of the show that we had a big announcement. Are we ready to talk about our big announcement?
Sure.
Why not?
So Don Rackler and James Stubing and Randy Carroll have all kind of over the last week used this motto of all in, which I think is really interesting because at the beginning of the NFL season, my owner in the NFL said he was all in and we all laughed at him because we should have, because he didn't show that he was all in. It was just words. With Don and James and Randy, it does not look like it's all words. They are backing it up.
Yep.
They have put on for 4 years now an incredible product.
Yep.
And we have decided as a show that when it comes to the San Antonio Gunslingers, we are also all in.
We're all in.
We have prided ourselves for the last 4 seasons of being a show about San Antonio professional football. And that would cover any expression of professional football in San Antonio. And we love San Antonio professional football.
We do.
We do.
We want to see San Antonio professional football continue and thrive. But it is just becoming a lot to cover the Brahmas and the Caballeros and the Gunslingers. And to be really honest with you, only one of those seems to feel like it is something that's getting us excited and getting us ready. We're going to follow the Brahmas. We're going to keep an eye on the Caballeros. We're going to talk about them some on the show, but our focus is going to shift as a show. We are going to become supremely focused, majorly focused on the San Antonio Gunslingers as a show. We started that way over the last few seasons. These other expressions have come along, and we've had a great time talking with you and spending time with you. But our first love is the San Antonio Gunslingers. And so we're just going to kind of start focusing on that. We will still be watching the games. We'll still be going to games.
Yeah.
We'll still be keeping up with the Caballeros and with the Brahmas. And we're going to mention it here on the show, but we're not going to cover it. I don't think we're going to expressly try to get media credentials for those things anymore. If we go, we'll go as fans. If we watch, we'll watch as fans. Our coverage on our show will be gunslinger centric. We've talked about doing this for a little while now, and we just kind of feel like this is the time. The UFL, I don't know what's going on over there. Part of it is they don't share that information with us, and they never really have. They've never really wanted our coverage, and that's okay. They've got their eyes on bigger prizes. They want larger media outlets, and I understand that. They want to get that out to bigger audiences, and so they've never really allowed us, they've allowed us to be in the room, but they've never spent any time allowing us to cover things. So it's not going to change a lot for us. We're just going to back off a little bit on those side of things, and it's going to be all about the Gunslingers for the most part. The Brahmas and the UFL as a whole is dealing with some labor issues right now. I'm not sure the season's going to start on time.
Yeah, if you're a fan of the UFL, it's a worrying time right now.
Yeah, and
for all of us.
And then the Caballeros, we had Coach Mummy on last show.
And his wife.
And his wife, Jacqueline. And I love them. They're great people.
Yeah.
But I'll be really honest with you. We've been doing this for a while now. We've been together for 6 or 7 years watching San Antonio professional football. There are earmarks that lead you to believe something can be successful, and then there are earmarks that make you worry. The IFA and the San Antonio Caballeros have a lot of earmarks that make me worry, and not a lot of things that make. I want them to be successful. I hope they are. I want to get out to 100%, but I'm just not sure. I'm not sure about it, and so I'm not sure that's something that we want to spend a lot of time or effort, and that we want to push a lot of you San Antonio football fans toward only to have things kind of fall apart because Baltimore doesn't work out and it brings down the whole league, or the international side of things is hard to manage. Getting, let's face it, getting an entire football team back and forth across the border in 2025, I don't even know what that looks like anymore.
Yeah.
I don't even know how that works anymore. I'm not sure anybody does. And so that's scary. Like that, are you going to have to cancel a game because you can't get the players from Chihuahua, from the Rebellion up here for a game? Like that's a possibility now in this particular age. So we're just going to keep an eye on those things as fans, but we are going to cover the San Antonio Gunslingers.
There's a saying, sort of like match your energy, right?
Right.
So whoever gives you energy, you can give it back. And the energy that we have received from the Brahmas does not match the energy that we put out. That's just my opinion. Compared to the energy that we received from the Gunslingers. I mean, it's like 1,000% difference. And I think it's only right that we match that energy. They show us love, we show them love. And I think that's where my heart is. I'm all in.
Yeah, the Gunslingers are engaged with the city of San Antonio and the people in the city of San Antonio. And the primary reason for that is because they live in San Antonio. They are here in San Antonio. So it matters to them just as much as it matters to us.
Right.
Exactly.
And you really sense that. You get a big feeling of that commitment and engagement that we don't quite get at that level from other teams, other places.
Absolutely.
So and they're different animals. We're not saying this is better than that. We're saying for us as a show, this is where we're going to focus our energy,
right?
Because it matches what we do and how we feel about San Antonio football in a better way. It's a much better, closer match.
James Palmer says, aren't the quarterbacks in the UFL holding out for more money? So this was a really telling thing that happened this weekend. All 24 quarterbacks in the UFL did not show up for the for the quarterback mini camp. Now, from what I understand, all players showed up on Sunday for physicals to start camp this week. But the full group of quarterbacks made a decision to not show up for minicamp, signaling to me that there are labor issues that are happening or about to happen.
Sure.
Mm-hmm.
There's some red flags. Definitely some red flags.
Definitely worrisome, yes.
James Palmer says, seems like the Gunslingers organization treats y'all as family. They do. And we really appreciate that. And the other teams don't. That says a lot about the relationship. They are even Patreons and help you pay the bills. That's pretty big. That is big.
That's true.
That is big. And they are, two of our patrons are part of the ownership group of the San Antonio Gunslingers. And that's the kind of thing that we're talking about.
Right. There's that connection,
They have spent that energy and that time and that resource on us, and we want to honor that.
Mm-hmm.
You give attention to the folks who give attention to you. We all do that, and that's part of what we're going to do. Mass Bandit of San Antonio, we aren't Gunslingers fans. We are Gunslingers family, because as a family, win or lose, we cheer very loud and get crazy as a family. It makes it that much more special.
That's true.
The community that we saw come together around the Commanders was amazing. And I don't think we've ever seen anything like that again.
Never.
No.
But the closest thing that we've seen in the past 5 years has been this Gunslingers group. It's smaller, it's different, but it is that same sort of mentality and sort of community.
Atmosphere.
The community around the UFL, some of those people, a lot of those people are great. I love a lot of them. I wish they would jump on board with the Gunslingers and get us excited about both the Brahmas and the Gunslingers. But there are also things in the UFL fan base that are really toxic and hard to be around. And so part of me is really kind of excited that I don't have to dive into some of that and be around some of that toxic sort of stuff, because I don't see a lot of that toxic behavior here in like the gunslinger sort of area. And so I made the decision that I wanted to do this as a show, I think, first, and then kind of said, well, maybe next season we'll be gunslinger centric. And then as we chatted and talked more about it, I kind of floated that idea to both of you, and both of you kind of felt like, yeah, the energy just feels like it's time. And so that's our big announcement. I don't know how big an announcement it is, but it is big for us, that is going to be our focus from this point forward. Don and James and Jordan and April and Robert Seco and Ralph are all in. We're all in too.
We are all in.
Yep.
Alex McSwain says, I know Green Bay has a podcast. What other IFL teams have a podcast? Any thoughts of crossovers? We did talk a little bit about that right at the beginning of the show. Green Bay and Jacksonville, we know, have podcasts. And the San Antonio Gunslingers have their own team podcast, branded The Coach's Show. Don't forget about them. So
Ralph?
Yeah, and Ralph is a part of that. My partner on the broadcast is a part of that. James Palmer, are y'all still going to be a part of the Fuel Network? Our understanding is the Fuel Network is no more. We don't have a lot of information to share about that, but our understanding is the Fuel Network has ceased to be.
Very recent.
And so, no, we will not be a
Yeah.
part of that because there's not a part of that to be. So is our understanding.
But
Yeah,
there still will be the A team with RC. We will be covering more female football and more female sports. So check us out. Should be having something in the next couple of weeks about that. But I'd love to, keep the fans, and it's good entertainment. And we'll see. So see you soon with that. The A team with RC.
That's awesome, RC. Yeah.
So if you are a San Antonio football fan and you are a big Brahmas fan, and that's what you come to connect with us for, we realize this may be a time that you step away. We hope you don't. We would hope that you would connect with the Gunslingers and get involved in that community. It is really awesome, and there's no reason you can't be a fan of both. There's no reason you can't connect with both. There are reasons you can't cover both, and that's where we're at right now, is it just takes a lot of time and energy. But there's absolutely no reason that you can't be a fan of both of those. And so we would love to see you come along, but we recognize that our numbers may drop a little or dip a little because we're not covering some of those other sides of San Antonio professional football.
Yeah, and we still live in, we're still San Antonio football fans. Right. We still are going to follow the Brahmas as fans. We're still going to watch the games, go to games, as Philip said earlier. We're going to talk about, we always talk about sports on here, football. We've talked about NFL. We've talked about NBA.
Oh, yeah.
We've talked about NHL. We're going to talk about UFL. It's just not going to be something that we cover officially and focus on. But you can always join us to talk about Gunslingers football, maybe follow the Gunslingers through us. If you're not able to make games or whatever, or you want to just catch up a little bit on what's going on in indoor football. But if you want to chat about Brahmas and comment about Brahmas or want our opinion on something, it's not something we're not going to be able to talk about and say, oh, we don't talk about that on this podcast. We'll talk about Brahmas. We'll talk about Caballeros. We're just not going to cover them as a subject matter of the show specifically.
James Palmer says y'all need to do player interviews after the game. I know it wouldn't be live, but it would be cool. One of the things that I think this change will make is it will be a lot easier for us to dial in on specific players and have players from your Gunslingers on. Look, there's a side of us that has always tried to ride the fence. And if we're going to have players from Gunslingers on, we need to try to get players from the Brahmas on.
Yeah.
We have trouble getting players from the Brahmas on, so we don't get we don't have to worry about that anymore. We're not going to have to worry about that anymore. we can kind of focus on bringing in Gunslingers players more often because we don't have to try to appeal to this other side of things as much. We're just going to kind of climb off the fence, and we're going to be on this Gunslinger side of the fence. And that means we will have the ownership. And look, it's really hard to get players, coaches, even staff members. We've had staff members of the Brahmas confirmed and ready to be on the show that have let us know in the 11th hour that they couldn't be on the show because the league wouldn't let them.
Yep.
Right.
That's happened to us multiple times.
A lot more red tape over there.
It's just a lot harder for us to get that done. The Gunslingers have always been great about coming on and being a part of things. And so we're going to honor that. And it's go where people want you. And it's obvious that we're wanted on one side of this, and they're not going to miss us. They're looking for bigger fish, and I understand they got to make this thing viable and make money, and they're putting a lot more money into their stuff than maybe the Gunslingers are. I think they're doing it the wrong way. I think they should focus on local media more and podcasting more and some of those kind of things. But that's just not what they're doing. I can't tell them how to run their business. And it makes it very hard to cover. So we're just going to stop fighting that. And we're going to move forward. We had no trouble getting Tom Manass on. But we have fought for a season and a half and still have never been able to get Wade Phillips on. And that's just the way it is. That's just the way it is. It just works out that way. So,
and I'll still cover the 6-shooters, and we'll still sponsor, some of those cheerleading camps, and we'll maybe do some more mom to mom once we get some of the players. So we still have that connection. We'll still have that tie with the Gunslingers and some of the behind the scenes.
Yeah. James Palmer said if they were truly local, it would help. It would. I understand the business model. I understand why they run things the way they do. I know that it saves them a certain amount of money. But I'm not sure that that's how they make this. I don't know. I've made a big deal about this home game that they took away from us and put in St. Louis.
Oh, yeah.
I don't understand if money is an issue, why didn't they just have it in Arlington so nobody had to travel for
nobody would have to travel, right?
Two teams wouldn't have had to travel. You can have St. Louis and San Antonio play in Arlington, and neither team has to travel, and that saves you a ton of money. But they didn't do that. I don't know. Again, I'm going to stop with all that. I've gotten pretty negative when it comes to the UFL, and it's really hurt my enjoyment of that product, and I don't want to do that anymore. I want to enjoy it more, and I'm going to be able to do that more as a fan. And so we'll cover the IFL, and we'll cover the Gunslingers, and we'll let other folks. There are other folks out there doing a great job at covering the Brahmas and getting connected to that. And if that's what you're needing, go hang out with Horns Forward. Those are great folks.
Yeah, they have a great podcast over there covering them. Yeah,
we love Jackie and Jay and Jorge and those folks. DJ, they're great. They're a great place to go and get that fix. Go get that there. And if you're looking for Gunslingers information, come here because we'll have that for you here. So, Alex McSwain really likes mom to mom segments. RC.
Thank you.
I can't think of another professional sports podcast around the world that features something like that. That's true. It's very true. Nobody else does those. And we have that's a really neat thing that you do, RC, and I would love to see more of those.
Yeah.
When we're not splitting teams and we can focus on one, I think that's where we can really make that happen more.
It gets a lot easier. I don't think people understand how much riding that fence really, you don't want to lean too far one way or the other because we hear it. We hear folks say, "Oh, you're just a this, you're just a that." People have accused us for a very long time of just being a San Antonio Gunslingers podcast. Well, you know what?
Now we are.
Okay.
Now we are.
Okie dokie. We hear you loud and clear. That's what you're going to get here. So we're excited about a new direction. We're excited about San Antonio professional football in all of its forms. I want the UFL to grow and become a really viable spring league option for the NFL. I do. I want the Caballeros and the IFL to be a great option for folks to get more tape and get into football. I think spring football, I've always said this, from the days of the Commanders on, I've always said spring football makes the NFL better. And I truly believe that. We can't keep doing all of it. Spurge! Jason Spurgeon checking in. Love it.
Dirty.
Howdy, sir. I need to talk to you at some
What's
point.
up, Dirty?
We got to talk about some of that. Jordan, what's so wrong with that? Nothing wrong with that.
Nothing.
We're very excited.
What's up, Jordan?
About focusing and being
Look at our
in.
faces. We're all smiles right now.
Yeah. It's a weight off my shoulders. We made this decision finally today. Just before we came on the show, we said, do we want to wait, or because we all felt this way? Do we want to wait and kind of, just tug it through the season and get there and then do this in the off season? Do we want to do it now? Okay, Spurge. Let me send you the link. Spurge wants to come on and tell us about fuel. Do we want to do that?
Okay.
I can send it to him.
Okay.
I got it here handy.
I can't. I don't know what I'm doing half the time. So.
Lily says our loyalty is to the Gunslinger since day one. Today we just confirmed it. That's true. Like we've never faltered on what we love, and the Gunslingers have shown that love back, and so we're gonna be all about that. And so this is gonna be an even better place to connect with the fans. The branded podcast is still there, and you need to connect with them too. We're not in competition with them in any way. I have no desire to be the
styles.
Yeah, I have no desire to be the official podcast of the San Antonio Gunslingers. I've never wanted that. We were offered that very early on. We were offered money from the previous ownership to be the exclusive and official podcast of the San Antonio Gunslingers, and I think we all agreed that that's not what we wanted to do. We wanted to be independent and be able to independently be connected. Jordan says he just tuned in. He feels like he missed something. We are exclusively covering the Gunslingers this season. We are backing off of UFL and IFA football. We will be fans. We will probably discuss that from time to time, but not in a coverage sort of way. We are all in on the San Antonio Gunslingers, just like Don and Randy and James and you and your wife, all of you guys. We are all in
and
right there with
shooters.
you. Yeah,
we're all in.
The only plus is I can watch y'all live. I can't watch Brandon live because I'm busy on Wednesdays. I understand that. Well, we have always been a part of the Fuel Network, but the Fuel Network is no more. Spurge can tell us a little more about that. He's not going to rant or yell or scream. He's going to be very nice.
Really?
A very decent human being. I'm telling him because he's in the green room right now. I'm telling him what I expect from him as he comes on the Smoking Guns podcast. Spurge, Fuel Network is no more. What happened?
What's up?
You're still wearing the hat.
I can't hear you.
We can't hear you, Spurge.
He wants you to say, speak up.
Turn off the mute.
Adjust your audio. We can't hear you.
I like this. This is great. This is the way we should always interview you.
This is the best you've ever sounded.
You sound great.
There's a green screen. Oh, gosh. What happened now?
Jordan says April's crying. April, I'm sorry we made you cry.
We didn't mean to make you cry, April.
We love you guys. We love you too. Loli
Spurge.
says she's gonna cry with her. Man, I didn't think this would be this big a deal to some of these folks. Like, I just kind of thought it was. Nope, still can't hear you.
Still can't hear you.
I read
Wait,
your
I had
list.
my microphone turned
There we
down.
go.
There it
now
is.
we hear
That
you.
did something.
There it is.
I had my
Wait.
microphone
Turn
turned
it-
down.
Turn it back off. Turn it back off.
Ah, ah. What's going on, Spurs? What happened with fuel? What's going on here?
Does fuel really ever die though? That's the question you have to ask yourself. Fuel isn't.
I mean,
So-
it's a fan experience. So
There you go. You just said it, Leo. It's a fans united experience of Allegiant. Fuel can't die. Fuel cannot die. It's fans like you guys, fans like the bottom line, fans like Gateway City Sports, stuff like that is what keeps Fuel alive. Fuel is, I mean, yeah, it was great to try to have a network, but when you have so many people out there that are doing it and so many people saying different things that they say all the time, was it really meant to ever be an actual true network? No, it was meant to be to bring fans together, to give them a place to where they can go and talk, right? To do like the charity work like RC and them do with the raising them the stuff, you know, collecting canned goods, like what Amanda did from the, you know, RC and the A-Team with the A-Team, where, you know, we did their, you know, raised money for the Houston's women's shelter. Here in St. Louis, we did the Autism Speaks. It's about the fans uniting to create an experience and to become a legion. That's what it really is always about. But I think we just let things get in the way, the powers to be.
Mm-hmm.
And to be honest, I lost my way as a host that I am.
Well, let's be honest. You're not that good a host.
Well, I mean, Phil, I'm
Oh.
better. I'm better than you. I mean, at any given time, I could step into your shoes.
That's a really low bar. Spurs. That's a really low bar you're setting there.
But I mean, it was always about.
Stapler is better than me at hosting this show. Okay, you're setting the bar really low.
Listen, my
So
bar's
it had
always.
nothing to do with the league. It had more to do with ego.
I plead the fifth. Let's just put it like that. I have to plead the fifth for right now. How does that sound?
Okay.
Well, you hear our announcement. We're gonna start focusing more on San Antonio Gunslingers football. We're gonna kind of take a step back from the UFL. Spurge, I don't even know if the UFL plays this year. They're already having labor issues, and that's a problem.
I think if you guys recall, when me and Arlington did our last show, Spurge and Nostris came out and made some predictions. And some of those predictions have come true so far. You know, and you know, by the way, my lucky hat that helps me make my predictions is my Brahmas hat. Because
Nice.
I'm
That's
still
a nice
waiting.
hat.
I'm still waiting for a Smoking Guns hat, but I still haven't gotten that yet.
We only had like 4 or 5 of those hats, and they've all been
Yeah,
gone ever since.
That was even before
We've never
the
remade
XFL.
hats. Yeah.
Maybe
I'm
we'll
just.
get you a coaster. Didn't we have coasters for a while?
Well,
Hey.
we might have to work on that though, Spurge.
Yeah.
So hold
Hey,
on. Hold
I
on to
was
that thought.
promised fuel shirts and hats that I never saw either. So
Bro, I was promised fuel shirts and hats, and I only got this one in one shirt. So I mean, you know, come on. I mean, you know, it was the concept of fuel was great, but you know, there's a lot of great networks that are out there. You know what I'm saying? Regardless of what other networks have said about me, I could care less.
right.
I did this as fun. Me and Arlington started this for fun, and we connected with a bunch of great people. Like for an example, right? You guys, you know, like you guys were talking about the Horns Forward people,
Yeah.
the Texans, you know. But for me, San Antonio holds a very special place in my heart. It's because basically where I met the person that is upstairs right now watching this show.
Right.
Because I was outside and I come in, I was like, oh, the Smoking Guns want me on. And she's like, why? Why do they want you on? Because I'm just that charismatic. What can I say? I mean, look at this smile. So I am here to announce that on your guys' show, okay?
Yes. Drum
That-
roll.
Drum roll. Where's your drum roll, Phil?
I don't know, drum
Did
roll.
we have sound effects at one time?
That was a long time ago, RC. That's when we all met in one room together that we had a drum roll. We had a soundboard we could do that with. We don't have that no more.
So you tune in this Thursday. Me and Arlington will be doing the X Fan Show. Me and Arlington have a very big announcement coming on the X Fan Show about the future of X Fan Show, the future of Arlington, the future of myself. You tune in Wednesday night, you're going to hear tune in Wednesday night on a certain person's page right there next to me, who now has their own page.
That's me.
Right there. You'll hear a big announcement from the A team and with RC on their future. The thing is regardless of what anybody wants to do outside of the forces of what I tried to create with Fuel, you can't kill Fuel. Fuel isn't going to die. As long as there are fans out there doing things like this, it's not going to die. And it can't die. Now, who says down the road Fuel doesn't come back?
That's true.
You never know. I'm crazy enough to do it, even though
He's crazy.
He's crazy.
I've gotten older, grayer, and wiser through all of this.
Well, I mean, wiser.
I don't know about wiser. And plus, it's great now because now we don't have time. People don't have to have time constraints.
Right.
Like we tried to have at Fuel, where, you can only do an hour. Yeah.
Segments. Make sure you're doing 20-minute segments. That was not
You
my
tried
favorite
that,
thing.
right?
Look, I tried it. I like free form. I like long form. You know, I mean, you think of some of the shows that I'm going to give RC and Amanda and Amber a lot of credit. You think of some of the shows that they've just done over the last few months with Jose and with Dr. Aaron Shannon. Some of the great interviews that they got out of there, but we wanted to conform them to an hour.
Yeah.
And it didn't work.
Nope.
It didn't work. You know, so there was a lot of factors that went into it. And I was just like, okay, we're cool. This will probably be the only, maybe one other time I'll speak publicly on this, or maybe in 60 days. 60 days, I might even speak more on everything.
That's funny. That's an interesting time.
60 days.
60 days. That's
60
almost
days.
that almost
That
sounds
sounds like a legal thing.
a legal thing.
I don't know what you're talking about. I plead the fifth again.
All righty then.
I plead the fifth. You know, maybe come around, I don't know, 12 weeks from now, 13 weeks from now, I may be able to speak a little more freely. Let's just put it like that.
So,
and you might want to tune in.
So when and where will people find you next on the X-Fan show? What time? What, where?
Well, me and Arlington, it's funny because we're going back to full circle, and you can go to our, we got to change the name of the page. We got to wait a little bit, but it's on Couch Coach Sports on Facebook, all of that. You can still find us on our, our Facebook or YouTube pages and all that stuff where you'll be able to see us. Then tune in because Arlington just did his show about wrestling because, he's a big wrestling nerd. Right. Mm-hmm. He's a big wrestling geek. So,
Well, you and Amanda need to look at a calendar and find a San Antonio Gunslingers game in San Antonio you want to come down to, and y'all need to make it down here for a Gunslinger game.
Well, you want me to do that? Watch this. Watch. We'll show you how easy we can make this. We're going to put somebody on the spot right now, okay?
Hey, you guys got a place to stay when you come, by the way. You don't have to book anywhere.
Okay, you got a schedule?
Reach out to me and Loli's.
You got the schedule set up right now?
Yeah, I can tell you.
Oh, okay, pull the schedule up right now. So I'm going to put somebody on the spot right now, okay, guys? Oh, no. So here, you guys tell her what you just told me.
We said you need to come up to San Antonio and catch a Gunslinger game.
I would love
Oh,
it.
wait. They're going to give us the schedule, and we've already been invited and have a place to stay.
Love it. Yep. I'm in.
Okay,
Yeah,
so there you
so
go.
First game, March
Uh-huh.
22nd. That might be a little bit too short notice.
That's too short notice.
22nd.
Too short notice.
Second home game is April 26th against the Vegas Nighthawks. That's going to be a good one.
Wait, we're checking now. What day is that on?
That's a Saturday.
Saturday.
Game is Saturday night. These all
That's
these
a
games
Friday.
start around 6:00 p.m.
On 12.
No, what day? The 26th of what?
April
April.
26th.
April.
We can't.
No, we can't do that weekend. What's the next one?
Oh my
All
god.
right. May 17th versus San Diego.
May
That's a
17th.
Saturday.
That sounds like a winner.
That's a winner.
Oh, looks like we're coming to San Antonio May 17th.
17th. You heard it here.
Make it happen.
Put it on your
Hey,
calendar.
guys, but make sure you tell her, don't book any appointments that day.
Don't
No.
book any appointments that
You're hanging
day.
out with us.
I'll clear it all.
All right,
Oops.
we'll hold you to it, guys.
Very
Oh, looks-
exciting. Very exciting.
Looks like we're coming down March, or what day is that again? I can't remember.
May.
May
May
17th.
17th.
May
man.
17th. Put it on the calendar. And I'm making her put it on the calendar. Well, see, here's our calendar behind us.
Okay.
Right here.
Nice.
There's our calendar.
Mark
I
it
don't
on
ever
there.
really look at I don't ever really look at it. It's all her, not me.
There you go. We are not just folks that tell you people to go invite people to Gunslingers games. We invite people to Gunslingers games from
live on the show.
Missouri. when
Well,
we
listen,
have
we're going to be
to.
driving 15 hours to
Yeah,
come down there.
yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't have any excuse when you guys drive 15 hours.
So, yeah, I don't
Because
want to
of
hear
that thing again.
anything. Look, Phil, I was going to say a bad word because this is your show. I
Appreciate
didn't.
you.
I
Appreciate
didn't
you.
say the bad word, but if we're going to drive 15 hours, then all of you bums that live in that area can drive the 30 minutes to go see a Gunslingers game.
There you go.
That's right.
Get out
There's
there to
a promo
Gunslingers
for
game.
you.
Get
There's a
out there to
promo.
Gunslingers game.
All right, hey guys, I do love you guys. I do
Much
thank
love.
you guys for all the support that you've given Fuel over the year and all of that stuff. You know, no, I mean you guys were a big part of Fuel, so I want to say thank you and that I love you guys.
Love you too. Thank
We
you.
love you too, man.
Blessings.
All right, now I'm
We'll
out
see
of here.
you
I'll
soon.
see you.
And
See
we
you
gotta
later.
talk. We got to talk movies again later at some point.
Oh yeah. I still want to do that. I don't watch a movie anymore without thinking, ooh, I want to talk about this. I just watched Gone Baby Gone for the first time. If you've never seen Gone Baby Gone, have you seen Gone Baby Gone, Leo?
No.
I have. It's been a minute though, so I don't remember a whole lot about it. But I know.
man.
I know the movie.
I want to talk about it so bad. I want to talk about it so bad. It's such a good movie. Man, I want to talk about it so bad. Why is he trying to get back on? I'm not letting you back in. Spurs
We'll
trying
see
to
you in
get
May.
back on.
He heard
We'll see
something
you in
about
May, bud.
movies.
Right? So there you go. That's what we know about our show. You've learned about our focus going forward on the San Antonio Gunslingers. You've also learned about Fuel and a little bit about what happened there and how we are all taking a step back from that, and we're just going to continue to do the same show we've always done. It didn't ever really change a whole lot about our show, which is great. We can kind of move forward in the same sort of manner as we always have.
Yeah.
But James Palmer says do a movie podcast once a month. We talked about it. Like we've discussed that idea. We would record it, not do it live, I think, if we did that. But we've talked about it. 19 days away, guys. 19 days, we'll all be together
Can't wait.
in the Freeman Coliseum. Ooh,
With their cowbells.
here's some news. May 17th is Military Appreciation. Great night to be there.
Very cool. We get to see, maybe get to see those guys rappelling down to present the colors again.
Ooh, I love
was
that.
awesome. I
It's always a lot
love
of
that.
fun. Always a lot of fun. Well, when it comes to an amazing indoor football experience, They may do indoor football up in Quad City or over in Indianapolis. They can do indoor football down there in Jacksonville or over in Prescott Valley or in Tucson. But when it comes to an absolutely premium indoor football experience, the 210 has got something to say.
Bang, bang.
All right. Thank you so much for those of you that are hanging out with us online. Let us know if you're excited about the new direction. Let us know if you're leaving. Like if you're one of those folks that's just like, hey, I come here for Brahma stuff. If you're not doing Brahma stuff, let us know.
Tell us.
So that we can say, hey, it's been great walking down this road with you, and hopefully we meet back up soon. I did see that Jordan sent me a text of the New Jersey designs. I will send those to Leo and RC, but I'm gonna hoard those. Maybe we do something on the 17th when we do the show. Jordan, mark off the 17th. We'd love to have you come on the show and talk about some of the Gunslinger stuff coming up for the season if you're available. I know the 17th. You might be going out
from now.
Yeah, you might be going out. That's St. Patrick's Day, but if you're not, we'd love to have you on the show to talk about some merch
I'm
and
practicing.
getting ready. I know that'll be the week leading into the first game. Folks, if you'll do us a favor and go and like, rate, review, subscribe, do all of the things on whatever podcatcher you use. Jordan says that's his birthday. Happy birthday. Maybe you won't be. Oh, he's down for that. Great.
Okay.
We'll have to have a birthday party right here on the Smoking Guns podcast for Jordan Stubing.
Right?
That'll be fun.
Hmm.
James says, Jordan, can I get that message? He wants the preview of the new jerseys. They look good. They look really good. I like them. I love them. Yeah, let us know if you're on board with us or if you're jumping off. Let us know. We'd love to be able to say goodbye and wish you well. If you're somebody
I don't think that many people are going to be leaving, to be honest. That's just my opinion, though.
We'll see. This is the right direction for our show. I'm sure of it. Like, I'm sure this is the right direction for us right now. It doesn't mean we'll always be this way. We may expand at a different time or a later time, but right now, this is where we belong. This is what we belong doing. We know that, and tonight has done nothing but confirm that for me. So,
yeah,
I'm excited about the new direction. I'm really excited that we're only 19 days. Jordan, only 19 days away from game. If April's crying, maybe she's crying about that. Maybe I've said that too often during the show, and she's crying about that.
Don't forget to reach out to your interns. They might help you out. You only got 19 days.
There you go. All right, folks. Thank you so much for hanging out with us. Make sure you like, rate, and review us on your podcatcher and download the episode when it hits tomorrow or Wednesday. I think I didn't get last week's out until Wednesday, and tomorrow I'm taking Caleb to the zoo. We're taking the baby to the zoo for the first time, so I'm not sure I'll get in front of a computer to do all of the work that, packaging the episode is. It may be Wednesday before it comes out, but make sure you download it when it comes out. It helps us, even if you don't listen to it. Download it. So thanks so much, guys. Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Guns up.
Have a blessed one.